is The Hub on Hollywood. I'm James.
I'm Jamie.
And we love movies.
We have a mission today, James.
We are on a mission. We will succeed.
Absolutely. So we are going to break down, as promised, the Star Wars Rise of Skywalker final trailer, second by second, point by point, word by word.
This is going to be a 3-hour-long episode, so buckle up, guys.
No force stone left unlifted
Unturned
or something
or unlifted,
like that.
yes.
All right. Well, let's get down to business, James.
Yeah. Well, if you haven't seen our initial reaction video, the first time we both saw the final trailer for The Rise of Skywalker, it's on our last episode, so check that out if you haven't seen that, and then pop right back in here, and then we'll dissect it with a scalpel.
With a fine-tooth
comb.
lightsaber.
Yeah, with a lightsaber, yeah. But first, we already kind of talked about this, but kind of generalizing, what was your take on the final trailer? What emotions were you feeling?
Gosh, I mean, I was surprised at how many people they got into the trailer. There's just so many loose ends to tie up. I was kind of worried about that, but you see a little bit of absolutely everything. And the Kylo and Rey stuff. I mean, I know I sound like a broken record, but we got to see more of that than we've ever seen in a trailer before.
Yeah.
And I'm really excited by the prospect of what we were seeing. But I do have to say, James, that I was a little underwhelmed.
A little underwhelmed.
A little underwhelmed. And I it breaks my heart to say that. But the last, the final trailer for The Last Jedi, I remember being so incredibly, psyched up for it, and it was, I just had this feeling that it like this big bubble of excitement, and this time it's kind of like more a little bit toned down. Maybe it's because it's the end. I don't know, but what about you?
I could see that. I could see that, but for me personally, I loved this trailer, and it brought back some of the emotions I felt with the Force Awakens trailer.
Okay.
For me,
yeah.
Again, J.J. Abrams, he's back. I'm not sure if they had the same editors who made the Force Awakens trailer, but when the Force Awakens, when it debuted, when was that?
2015.
2015. And with the opening scene where you hear the voice saying "There's been an awakening," and then you see Finn pop up, that I felt a surge of
classic misdirect.
Yeah, but it had a surge of excitement of oh my goodness, this is the Star Wars that I love, and then I really feel like this is what Star Wars is. And with this final trailer, I got that same sense where this feels like home again. Again, I haven't seen the movie, and I'm not trying to discredit or anything on The Last Jedi.
Yeah.
But this trailer made me feel like this is a Star Wars movie, and I'm really excited for this. And so it brought back a lot of good,
awesome.
a lot of good feelings.
We saw so many people in it, so why don't we get down to business?
Yeah.
We're gonna look at this thing. We're gonna go not frame by frame, but a few seconds by a few seconds, and we'll talk about what we're seeing.
Oh, this is
here.
a different trailer that I want to have you see. George Lucas reacts to the Skywalker trailer. It's not really George Lucas. It's like a face double, but
okay.
But it's really funny too.
All right. After the initial.
Yeah. All right, so here we go.
Excuse me, Chewie. Okay.
So right off the bat,
off
the bat, we see we see Rey running through a forest, very reminiscent of Endor. I would not be surprised at all if this was Endor. Showing her running through, she's training. It looks like she's deflecting a blast from one of those
training droids. It's a training droid.
Luke.
Yeah, you've got nostalgia here right off the bat because you've got the little training droid from the A New Hope that Luke used to train, and she throws off a helmet that looks very much like the one that was worn on Endor by Luke and everyone on their speeders as they were going through the forest moon. So that could be a clue right there in and of itself that this is Endor. Some people have also think it might be Yavin 4, but we're not 100% sure.
Yeah.
Where are the other Yavins?
I know.
What's Yavin 1 through 3, really?
Those are the not so popular tourist attractions.
And so I just wanted to make a note here because we're coming in on Rey, and she's training. She's trying to become the Jedi that everybody wants her to be. And if anybody has been reading the Rise of Resistance comics, you see that she is really being struggling with fitting in, with gaining control of her powers. She's not been able to use her Force abilities as well as she had in the past. She talks to Leia about feeling out of place and having trouble sleeping. And so all of this other content, I think, is really coming into play into the final movie and setting it up. And I think later in the trailer we see a little bit more of that conflict, but we'll talk about it when we get there. So Rey is really trying to be the hero that everybody wants her to be, James.
I feel like also, I mean, we'll talk about this later throughout the trailer too, but I think this takes place a few years after The Last Jedi.
You think a few years?
I think some time has passed. She mentions right in the beginning of this trailer that people say they know her, but no one really knows her. And that could be, after The Last Jedi and the stories that were, shared and embellished of like, the Luke Skywalker came back and he has a new apprentice, The Last Jedi. I think that's like, I think her notoriety has grown. And so I think she's become a part of a celebrity. But again, so that struggle that you mentioned, like people think I'm this great, kind of like Luke Skywalker, this great Last Jedi. But little do they know I'm struggling and I'm still trying to figure out who I am.
I don't know what I'm doing. Trying to figure out who I am. No one's trained me. No one, understands me. But there's someone that understands her. We'll get to that later.
Princess Leia, yeah. No, yeah, for sure. Okay, I think there's that connection for sure, but let's continue on. Okay. So we have Rey running through. Now this has a Finn narrating the opening, and I think this lays down a lot of groundwork for a lot of hinting of what's going to happen. So Finn opens up the trailer with saying that the Force brought us together, talking about him and Rey, and that the Force is an instinct. And so I think this will tie into leading to the idea that the Force is not limited to the Jedi. Almost anybody can tap into the Force if they really try. And I think that ties into at the very end of The Last Jedi, when you saw that little boy who had that broom and just like casually
broom boy,
casually bringing that broom to him. And so I think this hints that Finn is Force sensitive. I think that may have been the original plan too in the beginning. I think in The Force Awakens.
You just answered my question I was going to ask you.
Okay.
About whether or not you thought that Finn could be able to tap into the Force. I'm totally with you on that. I think so also.
Yeah.
And just one other note about Finn, he's a great friend.
Yeah.
And I think that he's trying to do his damnedest to support Rey. And even though he doesn't understand what she's going through, I think that he's a really, really good and loyal friend.
Now, speaking about that friendship, talking about Rose, the last friend that he made. Now, we do clearly see her in this trailer, but we don't see, obviously this is just a short trailer, but we don't see Finn and Rose together. We see her with some other characters. Do you think they're going to try to distance them and trying to keep the core four together, Rey, Poe, Finn, and Chewie?
I think that we are going to see the core four together. It's a war, James.
Yeah.
It's a war. It's a tough time for dating, you know? So,
I agree.
That's why they have to solve the war. They have to bring everything back into balance so that we can have lots of Force babies. But anyways, yes, to answer your question, I think that we will see a little bit of that dynamic, but I don't think that we're going to see the outright romance that maybe some people would like to see, because we are in the middle of, I'm going to curse a little bit, okay?
Okay.
Shit's hitting the fan.
Yeah.
Okay? This is the end-all, be-all. This is a culmination of everything, the ultimate bad guy. There's not a lot of time for the smoochy stuff. So,
no, in those moments of intense danger and peril, that's when sometimes that love really does come out.
That's true.
And that drives you further to be the hero that you're meant to be.
But that's what's so awesome about it, because it's all the tension. You know what I mean? It's all of that tension. It's all of that possibility together. And, yes.
Be still, my gentle heart.
I give that a couple of shirtless Kylos. Yeah.
Okay, so we agree with the idea of Finn possibly being Force sensitive, others being able to tap in. Cool.
I think so. And then we hear Poe's voice.
Yeah.
And Poe is saying,
feeling.
Here we go.
The Force brought us together.
Yeah.
We see Rey running training. Then we see right here the Rebel base. I think this Rebel base, I really do believe this is going to take place on Endor because, you know, Princess Leia and the Ewoks, those are like the last, the people on their side. And, you know, the last time they needed help in a pinch, they went to Endor and the Ewoks pulled through. So I think they're back. They've regrouped. We see a lot of members, a lot of rebels.
Right.
So that
someone made an excellent observation in here. If you look closely, maybe it's a few frames after this. But Maz Kanata is there. Sorry, my voice went low. But yes, if you look at it closely, someone has pointed out that they see Maz Kanata in this group of rebels. Yep, you see a Mon Calamari.
Yeah.
A person there also. You see Lando. You see Poe in the corner over here. So they're having a big meeting, presumably before some large battle. And really the rebellion at this point, or the resistance at this point, is a hodgepodge of folks. Okay, pause right there. And so here you see Rose. It looks like their base is under attack. And just behind her is Dominic Monaghan of Lord of the Rings fame. He's been cast to be another rebel fighter.
Unnamed so far.
Unnamed so far, but maybe it seems like she's going to be spending time with that character.
Then you can also see in the background you have these space horses. There's an actual name for these horses, but
we need to look it up. Yeah, the space horses for now.
We'll call them space horses for now.
Yeah.
You can see them in the background.
Yeah.
So it looks like this place is getting under attack soon, or they're mobilizing, trying to get out.
People will fight if we lead them. Poe is also, working on. Ooh, okay. Before we get to that part, but yeah, Poe is working on, becoming the leader that he's always, that he wants to be, and having learned all of the lessons from the failures of the past, and so I don't know, how do you think that Poe is going to be doing in this film?
Well, I think I definitely want to see more Poe. I didn't like his character development. I mean, this could really pay off. What happened in The Last Jedi with how arrogant he was and how he took control of the ship and like pretty much called a mutiny when he felt that the person in charge, and I'm blanking on her name right now, was doing them wrong or had bad intentions. And so I feel in this movie he's definitely going to have to try to overcome his failure as a soldier, as a leader. And so in this one, I feel like, as you mentioned, he's going to have to step up, and I think he's going to have to try to prove himself, but also at the same time be humble, because it was his actions in the last movie that almost doomed everybody.
Right.
By causing this mutiny and causing all this disruption.
Right, and all the people that died in the initial skirmish against the dreadnought in the beginning of the movie.
Yeah, and this might help him also become a better leader also, because in The Last Jedi, again, I'm forgetting the woman general who was leading.
Lorna Byrne. Lorna Byrne is the name of the actress.
Yeah. So I'm forgetting her name, but the fact that she was very secretive and wasn't very open to giving out the plans and details, I think Poe may be able to use that, saying, you know what, we need to be more. We need to communicate more, be more open, and work together instead of kind of being, this type of leader. Yeah. And so I think that may have helped him.
Yeah, we could really be seeing him coming into his own and becoming the new Leia, because we don't know what happens to Leia. I mean, obviously,
she's still alive.
She's still alive at this point. At the beginning of the movie, we know that they're repurposing footage from the last two to bring her into it and make her very real and alive and part of the plot. But I highly suspect that she's going to die in this film, and that everyone else is going to have to take up the mantle from her. And I have another Leia theory, but I'll save that for the end. This world right here, the water world, that I know the name of it, okay?
Okay.
It is Kef Burr.
Okay.
Like you're really cold and Kef Burr. According to Wikipedia, it's a water moon where the remnants of the Death Star landed. So Kef Burr, water moon, and we see Rey standing on some of the debris with her lightsaber lit, waiting, for someone to approach her. When we hear her say the words, people keep telling me that they know me, and no one does.
Yeah.
And then walking out of the water with his hair plastered to his face and looking like a very, like a dark prince, and putting down his lightsaber is Kylo Ren, and Kylo's voice saying, "But I do." But I do, James. But I do. So just stick a fork in me. I'm done. Are you kidding me? Like, let me just give it. This is the freak out that I didn't have last time, because we watched this trailer a couple of days ago, and for whatever reason, I did not hear that "but I do" part.
Yeah.
This is the culmination of everything I've been talking about, James. Like, they're so connected.
It's a trailer.
And look, and they are going to, I am very appreciative to J.J. Abrams that they are going to explore this connection in depth. They're not going to leave anything out. Okay? Like, it is so complicated and it is so complex and it's kind of messed up, you know?
Yeah.
But they're gonna go there, and they're gonna, you know.
I see them again. I see this relationship as more of as a brother sister kind of an equal playing field. Because again, both of them are lost souls. I feel like the sequence we're going to see right now, where Rey and Kylo are fighting on the Death Star, in this water planet. I think this follows the sequence of them right before they're inside this white room with that black. Where Darth Vader's helmet and they both swing and shatter it, but I think they're both fighting each other. They're both in on it, fighting at each other, and then that swing kind of goes haywire and smacks the mantle wherever that's carrying Vader's helmet, and then after that sequence, they end up outside the Death Star. And I think this is where the sequence continues. And I know that would be such a crazy 180 turn of trying to, I understand if they're trying to find each other and trying to understand each other, and then fighting ensues that way, but literally trying to kill each other, and then at the very end, turn that into actual love, a romantic form of love, I really don't see that. Okay.
Well, I have a theory. I think that we are going to see a lot more of these Force Skyping sessions. We're going to see them having heart-to-hearts.
Force Skype. Disney's going to trademark that and start selling software.
Force Skype.
Yeah.
I would totally buy it.
You already have regular Skype.
Come on, I'm forgetting what I'm going to say.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. So, yeah, and they want to, be on each other's side. Let's at least, we can safely admit that they each want the other person on their side. And I think these two characters are ultimately going to balance the Force. But I think that I'm not sure that they are actually fighting each other here, James, or whether or not there are some rumors that Kylo at some point might be possessed by Palpatine, and then she's forced to fight him. That's what I think we might be seeing. That's my theory on what we might be seeing here.
Mm-hmm.
How far-fetched do you think that is?
Based on nothing, right?
That theory is based on speculation. Yeah. And the fact that Palpatine is there, and there might be there's obviously going to be a final standoff between them. Mm-hmm.
Here's my Palpatine theory of him, corrupting somebody, or what was the word you used? Possess. Yeah. So in that scene where we see what looks like Darth Sidious's cloak, and he's on a machine or something that's moving forward, and Rey steps back. I think that's going to be a sequence where we see him trying to corrupt Rey to bring her to his side, but also give her a vision or possess her in some sort, and that's where we get the vision of dark side Rey. Mm-hmm. And because the background also looks very similar to what that is. So if anything, I see that happening. Mm-hmm. Again, like Kylo looks like Kylo. There's no definitive change in his facial expression to give off the appearance that he's possessed.
He's always sullen. Yeah.
Well, that's just him. He's possessed face. Resting bee face. You have resting possession face.
Resting possession face.
Yeah.
Resting psycho killer face.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
okay.
So if anything, I see that, but
that's awesome.
But yeah, so let's go forward because
let's hear this.
So we have
But I do.
So this right here. So this iceberg planet-looking thing, I think this is going to be instead of the rebel base, this is the base where Darth Sidious is hiding out. A couple of reasons why I think that. One is later in this trailer we see a shot of a Star Destroyer rising out of ice and like crashing, like rupturing through ice and flying or being forced up. We don't know if it's flying out by itself or if it's being forced up by Darth Sidious. But I believe that this is where Sidious has been hiding. We see all these TIE fighters rushing to it. I don't think they're attacking. I think they're going back to base. So I think this is going to be where Sidious has been hanging out.
Real quick, this ice world, it's my understanding that it's called Kijimi? Kijimi, that this is one of the new worlds, and that this is supposedly where Zori Bliss is from, and that it is a world that is controlled by criminals.
I don't know who Zori Bliss is.
Zori Bliss is one of the new characters, played by...
Is she in this movie? Does she have a helmet?
Yes, with the helmet and the orange.
And the purple. I was going to ask you, who do you think that was? And you know who it is.
Yeah.
Perfect.
So Zori Bliss. Yeah, and she is a smuggler, apparently a smuggler or an assassin, an acquaintance of Poe, who somehow gets roped into all of this. And this is supposedly the planet that she is from, being invaded by the First Order, from the looks of it. Can I just say one more thing? Just one last thing about Wet Kylo.
Yeah.
J.J. Abrams, are you trying to kill us? Are you trying to? I mean, just as someone who has been a Reylo or doing this ship since the very first movie from The Force Awakens, like really? Dripping wet Kylo Ren?
Okay, we're getting past this.
You know, and... But I understand you with all the sensitive and all this. Are you trying to murder us? Anyways, Palpatine's chair.
Yes. That would appear so.
As it would appear.
And this is actually, this is being brought back. I guess there's some concept art talking about. So yeah, when the Last Jedi, not the Last Jedi, Return of the Jedi with the original trilogy. This was some concept art looking at this throne with these pillars, like these spiky pillars. That was concept art for his throne that would be seen in Return of the Jedi, but they never ended up using it. So it looks like they're using it again. So which is a cool callback.
And then the Emperor speaks over a bunch of footage. He says, "Long have I waited, and now your coming together is your undoing." Is that a good impression?
Very good. Okay. I was spooked.
Okay. So what do you mean? What do you think he means by "you're coming together"? Do you think it's the Resistance and everyone coming together, or do you think he's talking to Rey and Kylo?
I think. I mean that. Yeah, that makes sense. If he's talking to Rey and Kylo, your coming together will be your
your undoing.
Your undoing. So that could be a line if you imagine, if Rey and Kylo do team up to take on Darth Sidious, that line being said right before the battle happens. Or he could be saying, again, talking about the Force and the dark side. The dark side, they rely heavily on themselves and like they shun other people away, and that's their thing. They only have like this, their only other apprentice. They don't have this whole group of friends.
The rule of two.
Yeah, exactly. They don't have a group of friends. They're like, it's just me. I'm the top guy. No one else. No room for anyone else up here.
Right.
So that could be a message to the whole rebel base, just saying, you're teaming up. This is, you're done now because I'm the real powerful one.
Yeah, you're all here together, and I'm going to destroy you in one fell swoop.
Yeah.
So that could be it.
And then one fell swoop, we see the Millennium Falcon swoop in on this awesome shot.
Wow, the entire Resistance here, every kind of ship you can imagine, because at this point, that's all that they are, is just a hodgepodge of whatever is left. I know there were a couple of interesting notes about the ships back there, but I honestly could not tell you who the ships are.
Oh, no, yeah, but there are a lot of, people are calling out and naming ships saying, we saw this one from Rebels, we saw this one from the Clone Wars, and so, a lot of, I don't think we'll see those characters that we saw in Rebels, but I think that's a nice, homage to the whole canon, the whole history of Star Wars, especially in this final culmination. I think that's cool to bring in those spaceships that most people may not notice, but the real true Star Wars fans, they'll see it and get a kick out of it.
The super nerds.
Oh yeah.
Okay, some kind of water. Can you put the sound back?
Oh yeah. So there's a lot going on in this C-3PO scene.
Yeah, and if you go back a couple of frames, you'll see Zori Bliss is here also.
Yeah.
She's right next to Poe.
Yeah, so we have this new character with the helmet on. And as you mentioned before, kind of she's known Poe before and kind of got roped into this whole new adventure for her. So there's that, and
Kerry Russell is the name of the actress.
This whole scene with C-3PO, I think like one of the most emotional parts of this whole trailer.
Right.
When he says, "What are you doing?" and he takes a moment to say that I'm taking a look at my friends one last time.
Yeah.
And then
he gets plugged into something.
Yeah. Taking one last look, sir.
At my friends.
And my friends, and so that's amazing. So this popped out a couple theories for myself.
Okay, go for it.
So in the last trailer that we saw, do you remember that short scene where we saw C-3PO with his red eyes?
Yeah.
So like this, so the idea, the joke around there was, oh, C-3PO is turning to the dark side or whatever, or what's going on? Are they trying to hack him or whatever?
Yeah.
In this one, I think so. You may notice back here in this corner. That's a battle droid.
Yeah,
from the prequels.
The prequels.
And so
there we go.
And so I'm thinking if this is the culmination of this multi-decade war, and we're seeing these different spaceships being brought in. We're seeing Endor being brought in, and all these callbacks, and then we see a battle droid in the back. Now I'm thinking what they're doing is they're going to put C-3PO in charge of a droid army. Whatever droids are remaining, I think they're putting him into some sort of system where he can hack in and control.
Interesting.
For the final battle,
that would be pretty
badass. And the risk here is that he may not be able to be brought back out, or by doing this, he'll end up dying. And so, if the chance that he were to die, he's taking one last look at his friends. How crazy would that be if they brought back the battle droids?
That would be nuts.
Again, like we've seen the battle horses. Yeah. We've seen a lot of different things, and so I would not be surprised if they brought in to fight this final battle whatever technology they can, and if they have droids, why not use them?
I like that a lot better than any of my other theories. That is so cool. And he's like, with the red eyes controlling a battle droid army. Hell yeah!
I'm down for that.
I'm down for that. Some of the other rumors I've heard is like, that his memory is going to be crucial to the plot because he remembers the prequels. He remembers, everything that's happened. So I think that C-3PO going to be playing a pivotal role, but I would much rather see him like commanding an army of droids than just like, oh, this is my memory of Anakin or something like that. That's awesome.
And I think that's why, that. I mean, and then you see behind in the background, you see other droids or mechanical stuff. And so this could be a shop where, they're trying to hack in or they're trying to build stuff.
Now, I had one other observation about this scene. If you go back to the little creature that is connecting the wires to C-3PO's head.
Yes.
He has furry hands, doesn't he?
I believe so. Let's see.
So in the last trailer, we saw a tiny creature, or a creature with hairy little hands, reassembling Kylo's helmet. Do you remember that?
Yeah. And you know what? There was also another droid in the background of this same scene. One of the medical droids that worked on Anakin Skywalker after his battle on Mustafar, and he was one of the droids that turned Anakin into Darth Vader.
Oh, wow.
And so that's possible. We could see that connection, or where maybe they are in some base, or I like this moving lamp, this lamp robot. Like I've actually seen this.
Theo.
I've already seen like merchandise.
Oh yeah,
of this turned into a lamp.
In Disney World, those little guys were running around everywhere, remote control.
That's awesome.
$60.
That's worth it.
Not too bad
for a moving droid.
Oh, it looks.
So.
Okay.
So I think I want to see more C-3PO, and I want to see a lot more R2-D2 actually.
R2-D2 doesn't get as much attention as he deserves.
Not in the new trilogy.
Yeah.
I feel like, and I hope for they use him more.
Okay.
Yeah. Because this whole story, I mean, he's from the beginning, and there's also that theory that Star Wars is being told through the eyes of R2-D2.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. And so we need to throw more R2 to witness this stuff, so somebody can tell the story from a galaxy far away.
All right, JJ, are you listening?
Yeah, come on. And we know the movie's coming out in 2 months, but throw in some more R2-D2.
Okay, great. So then after that, we see Poe, Finn, Chewie shooting and running down what looks like the newer First Order ship. So I'm not sure what they're doing there. Rey and Leia hugging. Luke says, confronting fear is the destiny of the Jedi. Because fear leads to anger, anger leads to hate. And then you've got all these fun shots. You're going to have a lot of great buddy.
Do you think they're going to have a callback to this desert scene where this may be either Tatooine or Jakku, and then Finn may just yell out, "Why does everybody want to go to Jakku?"
I would definitely love to hear him say that again.
Yeah.
However, I think that this is the desert world of Pasaana, where the confrontation with these guys running away from, I'm not sure who they're running away from, and the confrontation between Rey and Kylo and Rey jumping over the ship. Mm-hmm. I believe this is the desert world of Pasaana. And like I said, a few really fun shots here of the gang just all together and being the awesome resistance fighters that they are, and that, makes people feel good about going to the movies. Okay, wait. Okay.
So much in this scene. So much in the scene right here, yeah.
James, space horses on top of a Star Destroyer. Good idea, bad idea?
Fantastic idea.
I think it's a horrible idea.
It's a beautiful idea. Actually, you know what? I'm not entirely sure that this is what they're on is a Star Destroyer, because if they're in space, how are they breathing and all this other stuff?
Right.
Yeah, exactly. So I think is happening, I see clouds in the background. I think this is where the Star Destroyers are leaving. I think this is their base. This is their dock, where they dock at.
Maybe.
And so you have these hairy horses on a cold planet, on an ice planet where they're emerging. So I think this is happening. So I think they're on a platform, because in the next scene right here, really quick, you have BB-8 in the freaking front of this charge. Yeah, BB-8, you get it. You show them who's boss. In the next scene. In another scene where you see the Star Destroyers rise, and you see more horses running by, you see thrusters like right off to their right. So it appears, I think, that's where they're docked and they're lifting up.
Okay, but still, you're riding your space horses on top of a Star Destroyer that is lifting up. You're going to fall off the damn Star Destroyer.
Unless they stop it. Unless they stop it.
All they have to do is this. Tilt.
How
and you're going to fall off.
Well, maybe they're using these horses because they can't use ships because they could be detected.
Yeah,
so they have to use horses because they're undetectable. And they're kind of like, who's going to notice clopping when there's all these explosions going on? Yeah.
It just looks cool when you're like, yeah, I'm riding into battle.
With BB-8 at my
with
side.
With BB-8 leading the charge. Okay, a beautiful shot of Rey and Kylo in the Emperor Palpatine's throne room.
Yeah.
And they're just looking at the debris. This is from the last the Return of the Jedi.
Return of the Jedi.
The Return of the Jedi. And they're both looking beautiful. And you go forward a few frames and you see them. Okay, so it's Kylo with his helmet on and Rey jointly destroying some kind of black figure in a large white room. Now, I have a theory about this. I want to get your thoughts on this one too. This helmet on the top of this black figure, that appears to be Darth Vader's helmet.
Yes. So
what do you think that they are looking at? Is this a vision? Is this someplace that they are physically at, but are trapped in? I'm leaning towards this is a joint vision that they're having, or they're on some kind of spiritual plane, some kind of force spiritual plane of existence, and they're facing down their fears or challenges of some kind, but that to me appears to be the helmet of Darth Vader, which is very, very interesting, and I want to get your thoughts on that. Getting it out of the way, I don't think they're intentionally trying to destroy that. I think they're both fighting each other, and that's collateral damage that's in the way. Now, whether this happens on the Force plane, or in a vision, I could see that. I could see that happening. I could also see this happening in an actual real time as well. If they are able to do some of this more Force Skyping and talk to each other and try to convince each other, this could be them doing this mental kind of battle. Between themselves, and Rey or Kylo showing, this is my legacy, or trying to explain what's going on. They go into battle, and then in the midst of that battle, collateral damage is destroying the helmet or the mantle that it's on.
So yeah, I could totally see this being a vision battle, or this could be kind of a thing also. Like this could be, now this all looks way too new to be inside of the Death Star, so this may not be the scene right before they start fighting outside on the water planet. But I could definitely see this as either going either way, it being a vision fight or an actual one.
Yeah, but I think just the weight of that helmet emotionally, the significance of that throughout the entire trilogy, and the weight of that legacy on Kylo's shoulders, it's so meaningful and it's so beautiful, and I just cannot wait to see what the whole story is. I have much higher hopes for this film than I did before, and so my confidence in J.J. Abrams is going up a little bit more with everything that we are seeing here. So let's see what we've got after that.
Okay, so right here, we have more horses going into battle. We see these ships taking off, and they're flying right.
Yeah.
This right here looks like another ship when you see the ports or the exhausts, and it looks like that's about to take off and go also right. So this is, I mean, This does look like a ship also, to be fair. This does look like a Star Destroyer.
These all look like classic Empire Star Destroyers, like not the newer ones.
So if they're in atmosphere, because again, there are other scenes in this trailer where they're on a planet, so because there are clouds above them too. So theoretically, all these other starships aren't maneuverable ships. These are the kind of big guns and the command ships, while the TIE fighters are the ones that do the maneuvering. So I don't see these guys doing a lot of flipping and doing all this stuff, which would be beneficial for the horses and the people riding them, of course.
You just like the horses, James.
You know what's funny? At first I saw them, I got a bad taste because of The Last Jedi when they had that whole casino sequence, and they were saving those weird-looking horses. And I was like, oh, more horses?
Faviers.
Yeah, more of those. And so at first, my initial gut reaction was like, more of this. But then, again, I like the whole tone and everything about this trailer. And I think, why not? We can, if there are humans in space in Star Wars, then why not horses? Or again, they're not exactly horses, but they're a type of horse.
Yeah. All right. And what have we got after that? So then we've just got Rey and
awesome
Kylo
here,
surrounded by lightning and a chair that appears to be occupied by Palpatine. And then we've got two voices. We've got Luke saying the Force will be with you, and we've got Leia saying always. My thought is that by this point, Leia is dead, Luke is dead, everyone is dead, and that they are hearing, Rey and Kylo, I think, are hearing from their spirits. I think they are hearing from their Force ghosts and getting this pep talk in order to join forces, overcome whatever they need to overcome, and finally defeat Palpatine.
Do you think the scene right here where with Rey, she's watching, she's looking at either a Force ghost of Luke or Leia?
Either she's looking at a Force ghost of Leia, or she's looking at Kylo, who has decided to sacrifice himself.
Or has taken off his shirt.
Yes.
If Kylo's just taking off his shirt right there, this is the face.
Well, if he had just taken off his shirt, there'd be a little eyebrow up right there. So maybe not, James. As much as I would love to see that, maybe not.
Okay.
This is devolving. Anyways, but I think that, that's a wonderful expression there. So yes, I think she's either looking at a Force ghost or Kylo, who's about to sacrifice himself. I think Ben-Demption is 100% happening. I think that he is going to return to being Ben Solo. I think that he is going to some kind of sacrifice of himself and return to the light, if not the middle. What do you think?
If they mirror what happened in the Return of the Jedi, Luke, obviously, he survived after turning and saving Darth Vader. Darth Vader, however, died. He died. If this last film mirrors Return of the Jedi, then I could see Kylo sacrificing himself after turning to the light side, and Rey moving forward and maybe possibly training the next Jedi, because in this world, in our theory of the Force being, accessible to anybody, maybe Rey not training new Jedi in general, but in particular, but training just people how to use the Force.
Right.
So I think she survives. She carries on the legacy of the 1,000 years of generations ahead of her.
Yeah.
And so I see that. One thing really quick, we see the blue lightsaber. We see, do you think this is Luke's, because in The Last Jedi, when Kylo and Rey, they were fighting over it and the lightsaber split in half. Do you think this is the same one, the same crystal?
Yeah. I think it's established, at least in the comics or whatever, that she's attempting to repair it. I think this is the exact same one that she has managed to repair, but there were two pieces. You know what I mean? There were two pieces of that kyber crystal, so I don't know.
No, and also
what happened to the other side.
That's true, and also with the whole double lightsaber, the dark side double lightsaber that Rey was holding. There are all these theories that Rey uses this bow staff, and so they may make that into a double lightsaber. Again, this is just the trailer, so they're not going to reveal everything. But now I'm curious if she's able to rebuild Luke's lightsaber and be proficient in it. I think she appears to be proficient in it. Does she at one point bring out the bow staff, use the split kyber crystal? Right? Or
right. Yeah, that's what I would love to see.
But when did we see that?
I was disappointed to see her holding just a standard Luke lightsaber that looks like it was nicely repaired. I wanted to see the double-sided lightsaber bow staff, which we see in the dark side vision of her, which would be badass. I just want to see her wielding something that is like her staff, because I think she would be so amazing at it. But what was your question?
Oh no, I was just saying, do you think this is Luke's actual lightsaber,
I do.
Or did she build a new one?
I think it is. I think it is. But I think that she might have built something else, and maybe we get surprised with that at some point in the movie, but maybe not. I don't know. I have a bunch of other questions for you.
Okay,
do you have one?
I actually went through all my questions already.
Okay.
This thing. Yeah.
All right. So, some final thoughts on all of this. Will Kylo die? Will Rey die? Do you think there's a chance that we might see our heroine not make it through the end of this movie?
I think she's been through enough where they have to let her live.
Yeah. Okay.
They can't, especially Disney. And if you think about the corporation side of it, I don't think they let Rey die and ruin the childhood for many young girls who look up to her.
That's true. Do you think that they are going to balance the Force?
Now, what do you mean by balance the Force? Because balancing the Force is really, the Jedi mantra kind of a thing. Their goal, their whole duty is to find the balance in the Force. In The Last Jedi, Luke was pretty much saying, the Jedi, we kind of felt the Force was our thing, and it was excluded. Everyone else was excluded, but that's not true. And clearly, we saw with that boy with the broom, like anybody is capable of tapping into the Force.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure if the goal is to find a balance in the Force per se, because I don't think there is a balance. I think that may have been just an idea of the Jedi, and now Luke's saying, we had it wrong, so I think that may also play in part of my theory of Rey surviving and then teaching people not to be Jedis or training them, but teaching them how to use the Force.
Right. So I believe that something similar, but that what we will see the future of the Force being is the gray Jedi, is the in-between. It's the using and accepting that every person has light and dark in them, and using both the light and the dark together. And that I think that these future gray Jedis, I think, will just have the general name of Skywalkers. I think Jedi will become, we are just Skywalkers.
Interesting.
That's
so the rise of Skywalker
would be, I think, just the new age of the Jedi that is more complete, and those who accept both the light and the dark.
Now, now this is presuming that Rey's a Skywalker. Or else, why would she name it just after Luke? Because I think Luke may find that pretentious.
Yeah.
Really?
It's probably just pretentious. But
no. I said the Jedi is bad stuff. Don't make a new one with my name on it.
Yeah. Well, I think that's what she's going to do. I don't think it has anything to do with lineage or anything like that. I think it's just taking that name and making it into something new, is my thought. Next question. How many babies are Rey and Kylo going to have?
0.
10?
0.
10 babies?
10 babies. Just
okay.
Force bouncing everywhere.
Anyways.
Bouncing off the walls.
Next question. Do you think Rey's a clone? Or a Palpatine? Or a nobody? I'm still pro that she is a manipulation of the Force by Palpatine, possibly a clone.
Now, if you've been tuning into our previous episodes and our Star Wars talk, yeah, exactly. We're on iTunes, we're on Apple iHeartRadio, we're on Spotify, we're on YouTube, we're on everything. So listen, subscribe. But if you were listening to some episodes in the past, I did bring up the idea of Darth Sidious loves the idea of a clone army, hence the Clone War. And touting the idea of Rey being connected to Kylo through some sort of DNA connection. So so maybe that's the Skywalker connection. But Sidious, he
took like all the Jedi DNA and put it together.
Yeah, the midichlorians and created Rey.
I hope they don't say midichlorians.
I know, right?
In the movie.
Maybe they created Rey. He sensed that she would maybe not have been corruptible and left her on a planet or whatnot. He may have just killed her, but. Yeah, I do like the idea of Darth Sidious coming back via some clone technology or possessing some body in some way, and we know that he's capable and fans of clones, and so I like that idea too.
Yeah, okay. I think that's very possible, and I think that whatever he's going to reveal to her, he's going to try to isolate her, break her mind, and all of this, and I think that Kylo is going to be the one that brings her back. And like I said, it doesn't... I know that you don't think it's a romantic aspect, but I think that there's no doubt that connection is going to be important. Mm-hmm. Whatever they are to each other, that's going to be like a central point of the film. Which brings me to my last point is, have you ever heard of something called reverse Amidala?
Oh, yeah. It's like the new yoga position, right?
Shut up!
No.
Yeah, it's like... No, but it's the reverse of Anakin and Queen Amidala. So it started with they were in love, and then he fell for the power and lost the girl. And what some people believe is this situation with Kylo and Rey is that Kylo starts with loving the power, and then he finds the girl, and then he leaves the darkness for the girl. Mm-hmm. So I think it would be a nice mirror to end the entire trilogy with it, having a happy ending. But I don't know that... And
there's only one way you can have a happy ending.
It doesn't have to... Look, I would love to see a romantic happy ending. It doesn't have to be. Like I said, it's a war. It's probably going to be a lot of sexual tension, and then it ends with somebody dying.
Flaring, yeah.
Exactly. But then, it could be the clone thing. I don't know. But satisfying for me would be reverse Amidala. Because I think there are just so many beautiful parallels, and that could be done really, really nicely.
Either way, I am hyped. I am stoked.
Super hyped!
I am super excited for The Rise of Skywalker. Now, even though this is the final trailer, let's not forget there's going to be an international final trailer coming out.
Oh my God.
And so, and they always reveal more shots, different scenes, because they're trying to bring in the international market. Maybe not everybody is too into Star Wars, so they may not know. So it's possible that in the international final trailer that they reveal some spoilers.
Oh, God.
If and when that international one comes out, are you going to risk it and watch it? Or do we have enough? Do we have enough to...
Look, the thing is, I don't think I'm going to be able to avoid it, because I'm signed up for so many groups, for so many Star Wars groups.
Yeah.
But I will try to avoid it, because I don't want to know any more than what I think we already know. Even for me, I think this is a little too much Reylo for me. Like, I don't want to know. I don't want to know everything. I mean, I'm happy about it. I'm super happy about it, but I want to see it in the movie.
Yeah.
I want to see it in the movie, so... one last little local tidbit for folks here in New England who love Star Wars and love Adam Driver in particular. Who doesn't? I know, he's great. He's in so many movies this year. It's like unavoidable. He's like in 3 or 4 movies. Adam Driver could be coming to Boston.
Our Boston?
Our Boston! This one right here!
What?
To film that new Matt Damon, Ben Affleck film. It's a period piece of some kind, and apparently Adam Driver is in talks to sign on to that project. So come the spring, Adam Driver could be driving around here.
Just keep an eye out. Have your camera, your flash ready, your Polaroid ready.
Down on the Common, or at the Prue at Fenway.
That'd be cool.
Kylo Ren, man.
And next week, we're going to have a secret surprise guest.
Oh my God! Who is it? Who is it?
Kylo, Adam Driver comes in.
Yeah. So this trailer, what rating
Adam, if you see this, if you want to be on the Hub on Hollywood, hit us up.
We promise not to be creepy.
Or Daisy Ridley, or J.J. Abrams, if you're all watching this. We know you're watching.
Any of you folks.
We know you're watching.
Because we're so awesome.
So, yeah, come on on.
Yeah. So, what rating do you give this?
The trailer? Well, I'll give it a solid 9.
You give it a solid 9?
A solid 9.
Okay.
I'm hyped. My interest is piqued.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I give it 5 shirtless Kylo Rens.
Oh no.
Out of 5 shirtless Kylo Rens. So that's high praise.
That's the highest of praise.
That's the highest of praise.
Yeah.
So thank you, Isis, for this.
Yeah.
My sister-in-law. Yeah.
Well,
all right.
I think we've broken down the trailer.
I think we've broken ourselves.
Did we miss anything? Did we miss anything in the trailer that you picked up that you think deserves more attention? Do you have your own theories of what happens to Rey, Kylo? Where are these space horses coming from?
Yeah. Are they going to fall off the ship?
And are they going to fall off the ship? That'd be so sad. That'd be the easiest.
It would be.
Like if Finn and everybody in battle, and then some general like, hey, let's tilt like 3 degrees.
That's all you need to do.
But again, they're so tiny, they won't be seen. They're undetectable.
Maybe they've got like suction cups on the bottoms of their feet. I don't know. They're on an ice planet.
Like the Spider-Man up the Star Destroyer.
All right, let's. I don't know anything about fictional anatomy. So.
All right. Well, this was the Hub on Hollywood. Thank you so much for tuning in this week. Yeah, we're really excited to know what you think about the trailer. Absolutely. What do you think? Did they reveal too much? Not enough? Are you
excited? Are you pumped? Are you underwhelmed? Are you overwhelmed?
Know.
Yeah.
Be sure to follow us on YouTube. We're also on iHeartRadio, Spotify, iTunes podcast, every major streaming service.
Yeah, a bunch of them.
So please tune in.
All right. Until next time. Which we'll talk about a few other things, but this was like the big breakdown.
Mucho importante.
Mucho, muy. Yeah. All right, bye guys.
All right,
Star Wars.